A few days before Christmas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the governor of Arkansas, a great Republican governor, issued a proclamation declaring that her employees would have the Friday after Christmas off and be able to enjoy that 4-day weekend. But rather than merely declaring it so, she gave some background in her proclamation, and it was a really well thought out, beautiful proclamation that was very theologically correct. She says, "More than 2 millennia ago in the little town of Bethlehem, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, was born in a humble manger." She carries on, she calls Jesus the Messiah and says, quote, "He would be crucified, suffer for the sins of all mankind, die and be buried, and rise again on the third day to sit at the right hand of the Father." Later on, she says, "We give thanks for the arrival of Christ the Savior, who will come again in glory, and whose kingdom will have no end, by celebrating his birth each year on Christmas Day." And she says, "In order that state employees may spend this holiday with their families, giving thanks for Christ's birth, I declare Capitol and state offices will be closed on that Friday." Beautiful, beautiful proclamation. I wish more government officials did this. Of course, Donald Trump did as well, which I thought was great. He also gave the day before Christmas, Christmas Eve off, which I thought was wonderful. But not everybody thought it was so wonderful that Sarah Huckabee Sanders did this. There's a letter right here from the Freedom from Religion Foundation, who were not so thrilled. They say, "We write to, quote, express serious concerns regarding overtly sectarian language promoting Christianity that was included in your recent proclamation." I mean, this is a level of Karen that's really hard to conceptualize. What kind of person do you have to be to object to a day off after Christmas? I mean, come on, just take the W, right, and move on. But no, they gotta write a long, fancy letter they probably put together with ChatGPT to complain about it. They say our purpose is, as background, is to protect the constitutional principle of separation between state and church and to educate the public on matters relating to non-theism. What on earth is non-theism anyway? I guess it's a new kind of atheism, I suppose, and they find that it's so critically important that the public be educated about non-theism. But heaven forbid that anyone hear from a public official anything about Christianity. But we need to tell them about non-theism. That's critically important. They continue on complaining about the proclamation. They say, while the state's recognition of Christmas Day as a legal public holiday is constitutionally permissible when framed in a secular manner, your proclamation goes far beyond the mere acknowledgement of Christmas or other end-of-year holidays or festivities. You proclaimed giving a, quote, detailed theological narrative presenting core Christian doctrines. How dare you? Core Christian doctrines? It's not like those have had anything to do with the founding of our country. It's not like those principles have been believed by every major public office holder in our country since its inception. How dare you speak those? They get to the center point of their message, which says, quote, "We request that in the future you refrain from using your position as governor to promote your personal religious beliefs. You are free to practice your religion in your personal capacity, but you cannot abuse your position as a government official and use government resources to demand state employees spend Christmas giving thanks for Christ's birth, or proclaim it is the official position of the state of Arkansas that Christian mythology is true." It translated, this sounds an awful lot like, how dare you tell me to have a blessed day? How dare you say you're praying for me? They're a bunch of Karens, a bunch of HOA Karens. They conclude, they say, "We object to your use of the state's official voice to establish Christian doctrine. A constitutionally sound proclamation would acknowledge this holiday in a secular, inclusive manner without invoking specific religious beliefs or calling on citizens to engage in religious observance." Hold on a second. You can recognize the holiday in a secular manner, and they're describing that as inclusive. How about we make Christmas inclusive of the one thing that Christmas is designed to be inclusive of, which is Christian beliefs? A Christmas that is secular is inclusive of literally everything but that which Christmas is supposed to be. So they're being ridiculous. So what did Sarah Huckabee Sanders say? Did she acquiesce? Did she apologize and say, "Oh, I am so dearly, dearly sorry. I will put up a Ramadan display and a menorah immediately with my sincere apologies"? Did she ignore it? No. Sarah Huckabee Sanders did the right thing. She says, "Dear Christopher," who's the guy on the letterhead from the Freedom from Religion Foundation. She says, "Dear Christopher, earlier this week I issued a proclamation," and, summarizing, she says, "I received a letter from you calling on me to rescind this proclamation because it gives a detailed theological explanation and narrative, etc." She says, "Please know I will do no such thing." That's the center of the perfect response to demands from wokeness. And the lesson here for anybody, even if you're not the governor of a state, when you do something that you know to be good and right, when you observe Christian tradition, or you take a vaguely conservative position and someone corners you, whether you expect it or not, and says, actually, that's kind of not inclusive. That's kind of violating separation of church and state. You're not being very loving. You can't panic. You can't lose your head. Don't acquiesce and give them that ground to try to make them like you again. Because believe me, the Freedom from Religion Foundation is never going to come out and endorse Sarah Huckabee Sanders, even if she comes out and says, oh dear, I'm sorry, I guess we'll put up a menorah. No. Their goal is to push her into a box so she's quiet, so that, in their own words, she is free to celebrate and observe religious holidays as she sees fit, as long as it's not in public, as long as no one can see it. They say you are free to practice your religion in your personal capacity, right? As long as you keep it in the four walls of your house. But if you take it out and use it, if you do something with it in your offices and in your jobs in the real world, oh, now we have a problem. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders, by refusing to take this back, by refusing to take the bait of, no, I promise, I'm a good person, I would never. She just says, I'm not going to do any such thing. That's the correct response. Kudos to her. She says, and to me this is maybe the more important paragraph, she says, you say that my communications as governor must be neutral on matters of religion. I say that even if I wanted to do that, it would be impossible. Christmas is not simply an end-of-the-year holiday with broadly observed secular cultural aspects, as your letter states. It's not gifts, trees, and stockings that make this holiday special. Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ, and if we are to honor him properly, we should tell his miraculous, world-changing story properly, too. Very, very good. I love that. Christmas means nothing if you turn it into a mere secular recitation of traditions about snow and winter and Frosty the Snowman. Christmas only means something in that it is Christ's Mass. And if you remove Christ from it, you have nothing. So I'm thankful for governors like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who in this respect has done something very good, not only by releasing her initial proclamation, which some governors probably wouldn't have done that, even that, but then going further and defending it when she received pushback from the HOA Karens over at the Freedom from Religion Foundation, who probably try to sue you if you said God bless you if they sneezed. So more power to you. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a Happy New Year in the coming days.